Okay, so here we go. Let's start the same way we always do. If you can, please subscribe, like, donate, whatever you can do. It really helps out. It's just a little thing, clicking on something, and you have no idea how much that helps out. It really, really makes a difference. And again, if you have good, legitimate questions, not ranting and raving about something you don't like, because I'm not going to change anything. It's just a waste of your time. You can email it to SasquatchPrepper95, all one word, at gmail.com. SasquatchPrepper95 at gmail.com. And like I said, I'm not even going to entertain any left-wing bullshit. So if you got a good challenge, if it's a good question, that's fine. But I don't want to hear you crying. We hear enough of that just through the normal course of the day. So I said a few weeks ago we'd be going back over packs in greater detail. A lot of people look like your packs are a pain in the ass, or it's a boring subject or all, but I change my pack out like probably every quarter, I guess you could say. It has to reflect the weather, especially the larger packs. Now, the EDC pack, there's only one change in there. Everything else stays the same in the EDC pack. And I will tell you right now, the EDC pack, the only difference is when it gets cold, I had gloves and a hat, beanie, like a Scully cap, and a pair of gloves. And they're just, they're the kind of gloves that if you had to, you could use them in the bush, but they're more about warmth than anything else. I hate a cold steering wheel. This podcast will be about the EDC pack, the everyday carry pack, not about the get home bag, not about, the big pack that's like as big as a motorhome. This one's going to be about the EDC pack. And you're going to hear a lot of similarities. You're going to be picturing a get home bag when I talk about this, but just listen to the whole thing and you'll kind of get it and where I'm coming from. Your pack. This is one of the most important pieces of gear you're going to carry, that you're going to have, because you have it with you every day. You will learn over time what you want to add and you want to take. But to start, you should have a basic kit. That's what the British call their packs. I have a few things over time that I've learned that I always want in a kit, and those little girly triangular looking things that some of the guys wear wouldn't hold my kit. I'm not afraid to carry a little bit of weight either. I don't have to look like a model. I'd rather look functional. I do get accused of carrying too much, but I never forget anything. I always have the bare necessities. And let me be clear, I don't give a flaming shit what other people think or do. It's my pack. I'm carrying it. Stay out of it. I will come right out and admit it does sound like more of a get-home bag. Again, I'm making this clear, but I have a lot more than this in my get-home bag, trust me. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's what I'm comfortable with. I know a lot of people fashion themselves as experts. I in no way consider myself an expert. I consider myself functional. A lot of people aren't at that point yet, and those are the ones that I'm talking to today. Even you experienced guys, you might pick up one or two things. Again, if you have a problem with it and it's sensible and it makes sense, email me. Let me know. I'm going to be a dick. I'm going to make you go back to the beginning to hear what the email address was. But I will listen to suggestions all the time. I'm open to suggestions. You got to understand that if I get out of my truck somewhere I'm not familiar with, somewhere I want to go do some photography out in the wild, somewhere where, I don't know, you might be walking, or there might be some rocks, it might be a little bit dangerous. Hell, even if I go to the mall, sometimes depends on which end of town I want to go to. If I want to go to the ritzy town or side of town, I don't take it with me. But if I'm on the ghetto side of town and I got to go into the big blue demon, I wear my pack in. Screw them. Nobody's ever said anything, so I'll continue to do so until they say I can't carry it in, and then I won't shop there. If you don't know who the big blue demon is, go back and listen to my other podcasts. But if I get out of my truck, if we're in DEFCON 3 or worse, I definitely wear it. Now, my definition of DEFCON 3 is obviously different than the government's, but it's basically a shady part of town, or a part like when you put your vehicle in park and you turn your vehicle off and you say to yourself, shit, should I really be here? That's DEFCON 3. It doesn't matter if anything happens or not. It's just if you start to second guess your stopping there, that's DEFCON 3. And keep in mind also, if I'm going to be in a sketchy, well, I have a Glock 19 in my EDC. I will leave it in there unless I'm in DEFCON 3. Wait, let me go back. What did I just say? I have my Glock 19 in my bag, whether it's DEFCON 3 or not. If it is worse than DEFCON 3, it goes on my person. It doesn't stay in the bag because it's already in IWB holster. I just stick it in my waistband and go. Honestly, I can get to it quick in the bag, but I can get to it quicker if it's on my person. So no more what if scenarios about the pew-pew. If I'm in a bad part of town, it's already on me. Now I'm going to mention something that I've mentioned before. Do not tell people what is in your EDC carry pack. If they ask you questions, just tell them it's dirty sweats, or you use it to carry, like I said, your dirty gym clothing because, you don't have a gym bag and that's all you want to do with it. This will keep them from asking you further questions. Trust me, if someone gets turned on or inquisitive about dirty clothing, like sweaty gym clothing, get away from them. They're not worth talking to, and they're kind of weird. The other thing is, if they know you say you went down the list with them, they're going to pick out certain things subconsciously. They'll pick out certain things in their mind that apply to them, that are applicable to them. And you're going to hear them asking, hey, you got your bag? I know you have a sewing kit. Can I use it quick? The answer would be no, but honestly, they wouldn't be asking you if you wouldn't have told them. I will tell you with no uncertainty whatsoever, probably 99% of the other podcasters out there have a much smaller EDC setup compared to mine. Perhaps they do not feel the need to prepare as much as I have, and that's okay. If you don't need as much in your pack, that's cool. But again, there is no right or wrong way to pack. It's like I wouldn't pick on you for packing too little. I might laugh at you if you didn't pack enough and you need something and now you're in the oh shit situation, but I'm not going to tell you how to pack your pack. And keep in mind, this is not a get-home bag. There's much more important equipment goes in a get-home bag. This is, again, an EDC for everyday carry pack. Everything in my bag, my EDC pack, bag, whatever you want to call it, kit, is based on things I've needed when I traveled. You can't take this on an airline. I don't think more than about 3 or 4 things in this pack would get on an airplane, so don't be thinking you're going to take this with you. It's another reason I won't fly anymore. I want my stuff. I want my shit with me. I'd rather drive than have to fly and land without it. And I know I keep saying, again, I'm really tired, so bear with me. The size of your pack dictates what you're going to be carrying. Common sense should tell you, if you want to carry one of those BF big frickin' Rambo knives, you're going to need a bigger pack. We will discuss that later, how I feel about that, but if you want to carry as much stuff as me, you're going to need more of like a school backpack. You're not going to carry it in one of those little triangular, what do they call them, messenger bags, I think. I'm trying to find it here while we're talking. I think it's called a messenger bag. In my mind, that's pretty much useless. But if it carries your gear and that's what you want, it's perfect. Again, this is not opinionated, what I'm talking about. It's what works for me. I carry a smaller black backpack, and half the time I wear it in the front rather than in the back. Part of that's because of back problems. Part of that's because it's more functional. I can get to stuff, like if I have to get to something quick, it's right there in front of me. I can actually walk with my hand on the grip of my Glock and get it out of there really quick. I rarely ever use both straps. I usually have it slung over one shoulder, whether it's in the front or the back. And honestly, more than anything else, I do not carry, and I'm going to try to be politically correct here, I do not carry one of those non-heterosexual fanny packs. Again, emphasis on the non-heterosexual fanny pack. Some preppers like them because they hold 2 water jugs on the side. I think they're made for runners. They hold 2 water bottles on the sides. Then you got that big thing in the middle. Absolutely ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. You can't carry enough. I mean, aside from the fact that it looks absolutely ridiculous. It draws attention to you. It draws way too much attention to you. That's what I'm getting at. It's not because of what it is or how it looks. It's because it draws attention to you. And people are going to come up and say, hey, are you a runner? Or, hey, I'm a runner. Where do you run? Or whatever. You don't open yourself up to conversation about something as important as your pack. The whole gray man idea, even if you're only going to go at it half-assed, is right out the window when you wear something ridiculous like that. Also, they come in some pretty stupid colors, so keep that in mind. I know I've seen some camouflage ones on the, Cabela's Bass Pro catalog, but for the money you would spend on one of those ridiculous packs that gives you away and just tears away at the gray man idea, you can buy a damn good pack like I wear, or even smaller, really good one. So, man, I mean, if that's what you want, good on you, but I'm just not a fan of them. I think they draw too much attention, and that's the main reason I don't like them, okay? Okay, the other thing is you don't want to make a pack. You don't want to pack. Your EDC should not be something that looks like you're going to war. You really don't want to look like you're getting ready to go into combat action because of your pack. I was actually at a gun show about a year ago. I think it was about a year ago, maybe a little less. And they had one of those doomsday prepper stands with everything from dried food to doomsday packs. Doomsday pack is like a military cold winter pack. That's what I refer to as a doomsday pack. They're huge. This is the part that really got me. The EDC packs for sale actually had a patch sewn onto them, and it wasn't with Velcro. It was sewn on, really cheap Chinese sewing, but it was sewn onto them on a red background with white letters, EDC. I mean, what the fuck? How stupid. And I'd be willing to bet they sold some. I really do. So what I'm getting down to is don't advertise. Don't tell people what's in your EDC. Don't use it to draw attention like, look at me, I'm prepared. If you're going to do this, do it right. No one should be asking questions because of your actions or what you're carrying. And you shouldn't be advertising what your actions are or what you're carrying. I would recommend you read the room as far as what kind of pack you're going to be carrying. I mean, if everything was good and, puppies and unicorns are chasing each other around out in your driveway and the whole world would be holding hands and, it was all good like that, you either wouldn't need an EDC pack like mine, or you could definitely carry a smaller one, but read the room. There were people all over social media saying they were going to rob people in the parking lot at Walmart when you come out with your groceries. That doesn't sound like puppies and unicorns. That sounds more like walking with my pew-pew in my hand and making eye contact with everyone so they know I'm not afraid of them. Read the room. I read the room and I say I need everything in my pack. I'm not trained as much as some, but I am trained more than most. Read the room. That'll tell you what you need, what size pack you need, and whether your pew-pew goes on your hip or in your bag. Trust your instincts. And if you aren't trained, still trust your instincts. You're still going to default to the primal fight or flight. And what's the other one? Freeze. Now they've added that to it. It's ridiculous. You're either going to run or you're going to fight. And I'm going to tell you the smart move 99% of the time is to run. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not nothing. If you have a chance to get away and not fight, get away. There's nothing worth dying over that you're going to be carrying on your person or standing in front of you, except for maybe a loved one. Other than that, get your ass out of there where you don't need to be carrying a pack like mine. Yeah, I know that's hypocritical. Then why do I carry mine? Fucking deal with it. When I have my EDC with me, I never take it off unless I sit down, and then it's between my legs. If I feel like if I'm somewhere and I'm getting sleepy or I'm not paying 100% attention to what's going on, I feel myself getting tired, I actually put my leg through one of the straps and wrap it around tight. So if someone touches the bag, it'll wake me up. Nobody's getting my bag if I take it off. If I take it out of the truck, it's with me. If I don't take it out of the truck, you could look in the truck and you'd never see it. I have a lot of good storage in my truck. Now, once I go down this list of stuff I carry, you're going to ask yourself if you really need all that. And you might not. It might not be a situation where you need every single piece of equipment I have. Great. Don't put it in your pack. But in my mind, it's easier to have it if you need it than not have it and have to go looking for it. My EDC pack is a working definition of being prepared. That's what I'm trying to move towards at all times. And with everything going on in the world, that's what I urge everyone else to move forward to. It has nothing to do with what's going on in Venezuela, the Soviet Union, the Ukraine, or any other of these snotball countries that we're putting way too much money into. It has to do with what's going on in this country. Again, I reflect back to people were saying they were going to rob people in the parking lots or kick your door in and take your food or whatever the hell it was before the holidays. I don't know if that ever even happened, and to be honest with you, it sounds like the comment of a coward. But, I mean, think about it this way. If somebody kicks in my door to take something of mine, first of all, they're not going to be able to kick the door in. But if they somehow busted the door down, they're going to get at least 3 mags from a 9 and at least 2 or 3 from an AR. I'm going to ventilate the piss out of them. So, whatever. All right, let's just talk about a way to make your pack not look military and threatening. It's very easy to set up a pack, combat ready, straps tied down so they don't flop around, noise discipline kind of stuff. You learn basic training. I would say let the straps hang down. Don't make your pack dress and tube block. You want it to be looking a little bit sloppy. Maybe have a phone charger cord sticking out of one of the pockets. If a lot of people are looking at you or you're in a crowded area and maybe somebody's like really checking you out, have a pocket that you can open up and pour your water bottle out or pull out a couple aspirin, for Christ's sake. Do something to de-stress the pack to where it's not a threat to anyone. I personally usually have, like I said, a phone charging cable sticking out of one of the pockets. I have one of the straps looking like it's ready to come apart, and I also have a t-shirt sticking out of the largest pocket, a dirty t-shirt sticking out. And I always go with the whole I just came from the gym. If anybody says anything, I think I've only been asked once what kind of pack it was. And I said, it's a pack that works as a gym bag because I don't have a good gym bag yet. I'm telling you, nobody's going to ask you any questions about it if you say you got your sweaty ass jock strap in there. Weapon systems in the pack. You can't just throw a gun in a holster in a pack. Because when you go to pull out your pew pew. The holster's going to come with it, and then you got to get the holster off, and it's 2 or 3 seconds. You're going to be catching rounds when you could have been firing yourself. So make sure there's a way to secure the holster inside the pack if you have to. So if you have to reach in and pull the pew pew out, nothing comes with it. Very, very important. Do not have it set up in a way where if you go to pull the pew pew out, that's going to snag on something. Especially if you're one of these rocket scientists that carry a gun with a hammer on it. Murphy's Law dictates that hammer will catch on everything it possibly can coming out of that bag. It's just Murphy's Laws of combat. You are not going to get a hammered pistol out of a EDC pack without snagging on anything. So that is my hint to you, to get a pew pew with a shrouded hammer. Glock. I do carry a weapon at all times, whether it's on my hip, in my EDC. Doesn't matter, there's something on me at all times. I do have a carry card. I strongly recommend you do not carry concealed in a pack on your body, on your person, or anywhere else if you do not have the correct authority in your state. Personally, I feel it's within our rights to carry without a card, but that's the state of affairs. You need to have that gun legally registered, and you need to be carrying a concealed carry permit. If not, leave the pew pew at home. Before I go down the list, I want to stress again that you carry what you want. Carry what you want, not what I say. I'm just trying to give suggestions. How's that? And also, if you're going to use a pack like I do, a small backpack, make sure it's not filled to the brim. Make sure stuff is loose that, you can get out what you want without having to take out 5 things. Again, I will not carry the EDC if I know I'm going to be going through a metal detector at a school or in a hospital or at an airport, because you know what's going to happen. You got the knife, you're going to lose the knife, you're going to lose the gun, you're going to lose the pepper spray, all of it. So I carry everything. Everything in my bag is segmented in colored waterproof bags. They're really good. I want to say I got them. Where did I get them? Maybe on Amazon. But each one of them is a different color. I think I have like 7 or 8 different colors. And I do this in all my bags. The components go with a certain color. Like if you're in one of my bigger bags, the blue is for water purification. The green is for, the folding saw and the thing you use with 2 fingers and the chain between them. All my wood stuff, firewood stuff is in the green bag. I try to make them applicable to what they're for. So if I get somewhere and I do think there's a possibility that I'm going to have to go through some kind of metal detector or get searched, I can just open up my bag and pull out the correct bags, the color coordinated bags of things that I don't want to get confiscated. Of course, the pew pew is going to be rapid access. It's not going to be in a bag or anything. It's probably just going to be on top at that point. But that's just a hint to you to separate your bag by colored bags and waterproof bags. It's always a good idea to use waterproof bags if you're going to store your stuff like that. This is the really difficult one. How much money you spend on putting an EDC together. The EDC is very important. It's not as important as like your get-home bag probably, but it is important. I would recommend you don't build out your bag with all Temu crap or Dollar Tree ghetto shit. A lot of the preppers online talk about the great haul they had at Temu, and they get the bag and they dump it on the table and they say, hey, this is almost as good as a real thing. Copycat shit is never as good as a real thing. Just get that into your head. You're going to hear people say that to try to justify their actions buying the crap, but don't. if it's something that your life might depend on, spend the money, get the real thing. And if you have to wait a couple weeks, save the money and get the real thing. Don't buy something on Temu simply because you don't have enough money to buy the real thing at the time you're buying it. As far as getting Dollar Tree stuff, if you're that desperate, just don't buy anything. I would hate for your life to be depending on something that should be costing about $40 and you got it for $1.25. So spend a little extra money. You don't have to go top of the line, but you should have something better than Temu and Dollar Tree. I'm going to go down the list now. This is stuff that is in my bag. It's that simple. You work out your own color code. I'm not going to break down color codes also. But this is all stuff that fits in my bag, and you need to know that I still have plenty of room in my bag, and it's not a large bag. It depends on how you pack it, what you get. When you buy the stuff, think about this when it's going to have to fit in my bag. My bag is only this big. Can I put this with this? How do I do it? It's like, what do you call it? Tetris. To get that stuff in the bag the right way. Well, let's get down the list. First thing for a bag, any bag, EDC, get home bag, bug out bag, anything is you got to have a good full tang knife. I said earlier what a full tang knife was. I'll say it again. It's a knife where the blade goes all the way through the handle. You don't want an open folding knife. I don't trust them. You can't trust them when the shit hits a fan. It's going to break before it takes any stress. You have a stress point on that knife, it's going to break. Do not carry a folding knife in your get home, your bug out, or your EDC. I mean, I guess if you're going to carry it in anything, you would carry it in the EDC. But for the money you would spend on a good folding knife that you could almost depend on, you could get 10 times better full blade, full tang knife. It doesn't have to be big, 4 inches, 6 inches. 6 inches is a lot. It could be a lot smaller than that. I think mine's 3.5 inches. I'd put it up against any folding knife you could come up with though. I do recommend, in addition to that, you have a Leatherman tool. It doesn't have to be a Leatherman. It could be the Gerber multipliers or something like that, but I do recommend you have something like that. I will always recommend pepper spray. Always recommend pepper spray. I prefer gel. You're just going to ruin somebody's eyes or ruin somebody's day with gel. You could get a fogger. However, if you spray it indoors, you're going to empty out the whole room and possibly the building. Foggers carry, and you could get in a lot of trouble for shooting off a fogger. You shoot somebody with gel, pretty much only that person is going to be affected. There could be some collateral damage, but as long as you're not screaming with your eyes closed, jumping up and down when you spray, it's probably not going to cause any collateral damage. I will go back to saying the fogger is a bad idea indoors. I'm stressing this point because somebody's going to do it. They're going to say, hey, you recommend it. No. You fire off a fogger indoors, you're probably going to cook your own eyeballs as well as the bad guys. So, no foggers indoors. Now here's where we get into extremely important things. You want a printout of all important phone contacts and addresses, and you want it stored in a little waterproof case. Why should I do that? It's all in my phone. Well, sometimes phones break. If you were in a scuffle or something, you might have even broken or lost your phone. Or maybe you just forgot to charge your damn phone battery. God, that pisses me off when people say, I forgot to charge my phone. You might need that information, and you don't have time to wait for your phone to charge, and it's not a bad idea. Honestly, print out all that stuff, put it in a waterproof case, and put it in your pack, and don't take it out unless you need to add. Do not take it out of your pack. Leave it in there. Then you got these assholes that say they have all their phone numbers memorized. Yeah, I call bullshit on that as well. Just do what I said. Even if you don't put anything else in your pack, I'm telling you, print out phone numbers and addresses. Excuse me. Print out phone numbers and addresses, put them in a waterproof case, and put it in your pack.
Then in that same case, you want to have a thumb drive, and that thumb drive should have all your important documents on it. And for Pete's sake, if you're not scanning your shit up to the cloud, start. But it's real easy to put those documents on a thumb drive and put that in the same case as your important paperwork. It sounds tedious, but it's not. It can be done fairly quickly, and it can really get your ass out of a pinch. Just do it. I'm going to recommend a really good flashlight, not a crappy Dollar Tree light, but a good light. And for the record, and this is not an advertisement of any sort, I'm not endorsing any store in particular, but Harbor Freight has some really decent flashlights for really good prices. I mean, yeah, they're kind of copycats of other lights, but at the same time, it's one of the few places you'll ever go that you get a quality copycat item. My primary flashlight in my EDC is a Harbor Freight flashlight. I also have probably 6 or 8 Siloom light sticks, bend and shake light sticks. I don't have the full-sized ones. I have the small ones. They're a good thing to have. Like, if you got hurt and this is in any situation in any bag. If you get hurt and you know you're losing blood or your tourniquet isn't working right or something like that, bend a couple light sticks, break them, and have them on the ground around you. You would be surprised how many times search and rescue's gone out and walked right past the person they were looking for and didn't know they were there. If you throw the light sticks out, like around you, not like away from you, but around you, they will know to come and look for you. The first pass is the helicopter. They'll see it, whatever. Trust me on this. Take some bend and break light sticks. Also, they're not so, they will mess up your night vision a little bit, but not too much. It's also good for, like, if you're leaving somebody in a stairwell, if there's a fire and you can't get them up and down the steps, they're in a wheelchair, bend and break a couple light sticks and throw it around them on the floor. So when fire rescue comes, for those of you that don't know, if there's a real fire going on, you don't see shit in a fire. You won't see your hand in front of your face. You don't see dick. Those are on the floor. Firefighters know to be low. When they see those light sticks, they know, oh shit, there's something here. I know it's a reach. I know it's a highly improbable event, but if they don't weigh anything, just do it. I wouldn't have anything in my EDC bag that takes batteries except a light, a flashlight, or a headlamp. And again, a headlamp is also a good idea. But I use a headlamp that uses red light. It doesn't use a white light. It uses a red light, so it doesn't mess up your night vision so bad. But whatever you carry, try to get things that all use the same type of battery, so you only need to carry one extra pack of batteries. It's just common sense. You want to have about 50 feet of paracord, 550 cord. I have no idea what for, but it's useful for almost anything, so have it. I would take a couple zip ties with. They're really good for securing stuff, like to poles or to like if you want to put something on your pack, it won't come off. But zip ties weigh nothing. Put them in your bag. I will heavily recommend a small sewing kit. It's always good to have one. It might not even be used when you're carrying your bag, but you get in your car, you get a job interview, a button pops off, what the hell are you going to do? Always have a small sewing kit. I personally like to have a pair of really good quality small rubberized binoculars. I have very good ones. I have them out all the time using them. You don't know how much you need them until you don't have them if you've used them once. They're very important. It's going to sound childish, but throw a couple protein bars in there and don't open the pack and snack on them when you're just hungry. Therefore, oh shit situations, and maybe like we were talking about with the button, you got to go to a job interview, you're really nervous, and all of a sudden your stomach starts to growl. Get it out. get out a protein bar, eat it, your stomach will shut up. I carry an empty aluminum, double wall aluminum water bottle in my pack. If you have aluminum cooking gear or an aluminum water bottle with your cooking gear, like one of the Stanleys or something, and you want to cook with it, you can't use double walled aluminum, the vacuum walled aluminum, because it'll never heat up. But for your pack, I carry a aluminum water bottle. It's empty. I don't fill it and carry it full all the time. But you might need it down the road. You might need it to carry some water for who knows what. Just if you have the room, like I do in mine, carry it. Now, there's always a debate between matches and a lighter. There's always the whole, well, what if the lighter leaks and your pack goes up in flames? Or I don't know. I've heard weird bullshit about it. Coming from a firefighter standpoint, it's not going to happen. If it does, you got something to brag about. How's that? Matches are a pain in the ass. They get wet. They don't work. A good lighter will work. Now, don't carry a Zippo where you got to put fuel in it, the liquid fuel in it, but carry just get some Bic lighters for Christ's sake, and wrap duct tape around the lighter. You could probably get about 3 feet of duct tape around there, probably more if you really wanted to. You're always going to need duct tape for something. And also, as a side note, it's great to start a fire. You light that duct tape on fire, it'll burn for a couple minutes. That's enough to get wood to start. You should probably have a phone charger, like a brick, a battery power supply. You should have one in there. They're making them smaller and better all the time. Get the smallest one you can, as long as it's adequate to charge it to at least 1/4 charge. I actually have an extra shirt and an extra pair of socks in a vacuum sealed bag in my pack, laying flat. I can roll it, I can fold it, or I can just leave it flat. I leave it flat for the most part. I do have a Frog Tog jacket. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a very thin rain jacket with a hood that doesn't tear very easily like this crap you buy at the Big Blue Demon. They're kind of expensive, to be honest with you, but they're good. And I mean, if you're walking around in the rain, you don't want to get wet. It's miserable, so that's why I have that. I do have a few components of an MRE in my EDC pack. The main course spoon. I got something else in there. What did I put in there? I think the Pop-Tarts, maybe. I don't know. Whatever I got out of the MRE. I don't have the whole MRE in there. It takes up too much room, but I figured I don't like to be hungry. I like to eat, so it's in there. I could take it out, but it doesn't take up that much room. It's not that much weight, and I like to have it in there. I carry 2 extra mags for my Glock 19 in my bag at all times, and I know I shouldn't have to say it, but I'll say it. They are loaded mags, fully loaded mags. They're in a quick access area as well. I'm going to recommend you carry $100 cash in smaller bills. You can make 5 the smallest, nothing larger than a 20. The problem is if you go to buy something from someone and they don't have change, how are you going to buy it? So a bunch of small bills, not so much that it takes up room, but a bunch of small bills are definitely a big help. I'm sorry about the coughing. You should have a roll of electrical tape in there. Not because you're going to be doing electrical work, but because it's one of those things that you can use to secure something. You just keep going round and round and round. There's like a mile of tape on those things. It would go in the same category as the zip ties, but a brand new roll of electrical tape. Something I'm very serious about is a first aid kit. I do not like the Big Blue Demon, and for fuck's sake, I'm talking about Walmart for those of you that don't know. But I don't like the first aid kits they sell there. It's mostly Band-Aids and reading material, and nothing you really need in a real oh shit situation. I have a good first aid kit that I built.
hats off to my buddy for getting me the bag for it. But I have a really good first aid kit that I built that'll handle almost anything. Two things that I definitely have in that first aid kit are aspirin and Imodium. Aspirin for the headache and Imodium so you don't get the shits, or if you do, it stops them quicker than later. And I also have toilet paper and a vacuum sealed bag in my bag. So that's pretty much my loadout. It sounds like a lot, but I'm prepared, and it's what I want on hand. Again, you should only have in your bag what you want. You shouldn't be putting anything in there that I do just because I said so. I personally feel that a lot of the items are a necessity, and I can tell you that those color-coded bags really help. So if you can get something out of that, go with it, but don't not pack an EDC bag. And if you're not going to carry it, that's on you, but leave it in your car. Don't leave it in plain sight. But leave it in your car. Don't have anything in there that's going to ruin in the heat or the cold. But you would gain at least a little bit of comfort from knowing that you could just reach in, grab it, and go if you had to. You just don't know what tomorrow holds. So that's pretty much everything I got about the EDC bag. Watch your six. Peace out.